Yeah, the Palace is not a strip club. It was a roller skating rink. It would be like a Friday night. Everybody would go to the Palace, and it would be like a roller skating rink. And then at 9:00, they would shut the roller skating down. And then it'll just turn into like a club. It'll just start playing music. Girls are booty popping. Dudes just posted up on the walls trying to look all cool.
While the little kid Sammy, I like the way you look at me, was playing in the background. All these little teeny bopper songs.
As a kid growing up, what are some childhood games you used to play? And how much has changed compared to then to how kids do, what kids do today or play? I know growing up, we was always outside. We didn't really have technology and all that. But what was some of the things you used to do when you was a kid?
Well, I grew up in like what we called the compound, right? I grew up with a bunch of my like nieces, or not my nieces, my cousins. Basically, it was a bunch of us cousins that grew up, plus my siblings, plus extended family. We had all kinds of kids at our place all the time because we had a few acres out here in Southeast Austin. So we did a lot of we do nighttime tag because like tag's cool. Tag in the middle of the night, way better. Especially when you're like hiding behind cars and things like that, so much better.
Nighttime anything is like there's a cooler element because you're supposed to be inside the house. You're not.
It was probably Manhunt we were playing, honestly. We just didn't live in a neighborhood, so we didn't have any kids around that called it Manhunt we were playing. But, we did a lot of that. We spent a lot of time outside. We spent a ridiculous amount of time outside. I was actually just telling my my boss today on one of our calls because he's somewhere where there's a heat wave currently. And I was telling him, I was like, we grew up with there were 2 window units in our house. There were 2 window unit AC units. There was one in my parents' bedroom and there was one in the kitchen. So the rest of the house was just hot. It was hot all the time growing up, especially during the summer. So we spent a lot of time outside because it was might as well be where there's a breeze, right? Instead of just sweating your ass off inside.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can't live like that. That sounds horrible.
It was interesting, I couldn't imagine living without AC now. I'm a city boy now.
Yeah. There's I know for me there was Manhunt, there was Cops and Robbers, there was wrestling on a trampoline. There was even riding around on your bike and getting a soda can and putting it on the back like it's a dirt bike and you're just destroying your tires without really knowing. Yeah, kid growing up back in the 90s, awesome time. Kids just don't understand how much fun it was. And then if you was in a neighborhood, I couldn't even imagine how the projects would be in New York, but the amount of things you can do every day, endless.
Yeah, New York was crazy. We used to play baseball in the hallways. Shit don't make no sense. There's no space to play baseball in a hallway. We used to play baseball in the hallway, and we would play until someone knocked the light off the ceiling. It'd be like, and everybody scattered like roaches. It was terrible.
How long did that usually take?
It would be not long.
I was going to say, that sounds like it took 5 minutes.
But who are these people that live on the floor that letting y'all just get away with this shit?
In the wintertime, it's just you can't go outside. So a lot of the kids just convene at places.
Usually in the staircases, on the roofs, in the hallways. Yeah, there was a lot of things, dude. Anytime anybody threw a mattress away in the building, it'd be like all the kids were on mattress alert. And as soon as they saw, because in order to throw a mattress out, somebody has to haul their mattress out and then put it in the basement. They'd put it up on the wall, and then basically the garbage guys would go down there and haul the bigger trash. But when someone's peeped that, somebody threw a mattress away, then it'd be like this event. Everybody will know the mattress is getting thrown out. We'd go down to the basement, shove the mattress in the elevator, go to the 6th floor, and start riding the mattress down the staircase.
Oh my God.
And yeah, we would fall off. It would be a disaster. It's a miracle anybody's even alive. It was one time the mattress went vertical and we fell down 15 flights of stairs. It was terrible. Yo, I felt like on my face, like blah 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 repeatedly. It was the weirdest. I used to box. I used to get punched in the face. This was like the worst I've ever felt. I felt like my face, like I could feel the skin like stretching. Like it felt really straight. Like it started puffing up and stuff. It was bad. And then I'm like, and then back in the day, your mom used to beat your ass anytime you did something dumb. So it's like anytime you hurt yourself, you were afraid to let your parents find out because then your mom would beat your ass for getting hurt. So then I'm like I'm trying to ice my face. I'm trying to hide my face. Like, hey, ma, like it was terrible. It was a lot of that. There's so many games. Like, we used to play Hot Piece of Butter where we used to take a belt and we would hide it. And one person will hide the belt. And then everybody will scatter trying to find the belt. Whoever finds the belt gets to chase and whip everybody's ass until everybody gets back to base.
I actually remember that one. I remember that one.
It was wild.
Why was it called Hot Piece of Butter?
I don't know. When I couldn't tell you why it was called that. I just know that we used to hide the belt. And basically, everybody had to like turn around, close their eyes, or go to like a place they couldn't see. One of the people would go and hide the belt, and then he would scream, "Hot piece of butter, come and get your supper." Nobody's eating a hot piece of butter for supper, anyways. But that's what we used to say to initiate the game, and then chaos would ensue.
And this was in somebody's house.
No, this would be like outside. Sometimes we'd play this in the hallway too. You could hide. You could hide a belt in places, door handles. You could like wrap it around like a railing, like behind the rail. Like it'll take some time for people to find.
How many floors are you guys playing this in the hallways though? That just
the number one result when I Googled this is Eddie Murphy talking about playing Hot Piece of Butter. He said you would yell hot and cold if someone got closer, further away from the belt. And then when someone locates it, everyone yells hot peas and this says hot peas and butter is what you're supposed to, what he would yell. And then you have to run back or get whipped by the belt.
I would hate to be that one slow kid that gets whipped.
Children's translation turned into, you know what I mean?
Hot piece of butter.
Hot peas and butter. That makes more sense.
Makes a little more sense.
A hot piece of butter makes zero sense. It's possible that just in the hood we learned it as hot piece of butter, or I've altered my memory and made it hot piece of butter. But I definitely don't remember it being called hot peas and butter. That absolutely.
It doesn't even fit into the New York dialect. Like it.
That's crazy.
We would obviously play Manhunt.
Mm-hmm.
We would play Sting a lot.
Ugh.
Well, I don't think we used to call it Sting.
Handball?
No, handball is like a tennis game where you play with your hand. Yeah, we used to play handball. That was fun. When summer came, we used to play. Was it Skelly? It's this weird game. It was like a baseball diamond that you'd set up, and you had to like flick these like tops across like this thing, and you could like knock other people's tops off. So everybody would run around and steal the tops of like milk cartons or like film rolls. I don't know if you guys remember. There was like the little that you used to have like the little thing you used to put the film in. You used to take those caps off, and you could fill it with like Play-Doh or wax or something so that it had like weight. And then you could like flick it across the ground. And then, yeah, it was just a game we used to play. Like as soon as summer started, that was like one of our summer games. Everybody would be like, "Oh, we're playing Skelly today." Everybody would run around trying to find tops. And it was this like weird excitement of being a kid that like, I'm not a kid anymore. So obviously I don't experience it, but I don't see the kids around me experiencing that either. They're just on their phones, and it's, something about that is sad.
I don't know. I see your daughter in the background, pre-recording sometimes, and she's got that childish wonder where she's playing like games that just make zero sense. They don't make any sense to an adult, but they're entertaining her.
No, absolutely.
But I think you're right. The kids probably grow out of that a lot faster now because at some point you, as the parents, shove an iPhone in their hands or an iPad in their hands. Now it's like, oh, why am I going to play these games when I could just play, Angry Bird or whatever?
Well, it's way more dangerous now than back then. back then you used to be outside all night. Your parents would just yell at you to come in. Nowadays, parents don't really. It's like a thing that you don't want your kids outside without you watching them type thing now.
And that's interesting because the world is safer than it's ever been.
Yep. No, that's what I was about
now.
to say. The world is definitely not more dangerous. It is dangerous in different ways. It's dangerous in ways that that really break a lot of older people's heads too. Like, I mean, even think about like when the internet first came out, and our parents were like, "Shouldn't talk to any strangers on the internet. You shouldn't talk to anyone. It's like don't even tell them your real name. Don't all that shit." And look at all four of us here who wouldn't have a podcast or a friendship currently if we had actually listened to any of that advice we were given.
Facts.
For sure.
I think we also came up in that era where it was super protective, like because of how the crime was. It was like also they had that nightly shit. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was really the beginning of all this stuff. Is that like in the 90s, there was like this huge scare of like your kids are going to get abducted. And people just got so scared that their children are going to get abducted that now kids just are sheltered by their parents. They don't play outside and things like that. Like,
yeah, Luca loves being outside. Like I can't get him to stay inside. He always wants to be outside. But yeah.
At what age, if like, because this is the real test. At what age would you feel comfortable letting Luca go to the store by himself to go get something?
Well,
If Luca tells you,
in Florida, you can't do that.
Yeah, in Florida, like, how are you going to get down to the store?
You got to take the whip. I guess when he's 16, 17.
I remember walking to the store. It was a trip, but we had to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different. New York, if I lived in New York, I would say like 12, 10.
Kids are way younger than that.
I don't live in New York. I'm just guessing.
In New York, I've seen an 8-year-old or like a 7-year-old out on their own in the bodega buying stuff.
When I was 5, I used to force my mom to let me walk to the barbershop alone. I wanted to walk in. I wanted to be a man. When I was a child, I wanted to walk into the barbershop by myself, go up to the barber, be like, yo, I used to get the baldy. I used to get the one all around as a kid. I was been bald my whole life.
Standard cut.
Yeah, the Caesar, $5. Get out of there.
Yo, for some reason, Pucho's childhood sounds so much cooler than mine, at least.
Nah, I guess he just did all the normal New York kid life. When you came down here, Pucho, it was different, right? Obviously, there was like more. You had to travel more to do things, I guess, and
yeah,
a little bit. When I first moved to Florida, I lived on 8th Street, which like right by that like Haitian church,
the church
on 8th Street. So there's still like there's a 7-Eleven down the street. There's like a Burger King.
The Burger King on 2nd.
There's a couple little things. So I still used to walk around a little bit when I first moved to Florida. But then when my mom they actually bought a house, we moved into more of like a neighborhood, you know what I mean? And it was just houses and yeah, that you had to walk blocks you had to go to that store on 6th and like
remember
D Street.
It was so ghetto.
I think it was
that's
so ghetto. Oh my god.
I think it was G. It's
yeah,
the
or
small
something like
little-
that.
Maybe it's
I know
G.
one
It's
of those.
down there.
Yeah.
It's like three blocks from the train tracks or something like that. It's just
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, that was a ghetto store. I've stopped there once and never
Right.
went back.
It's before the train. Well, at least from where I'm walking.
Yeah, it's before the train.
track,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
This is where this guy would sell us blunt wraps and Dutches and shit like that. So we went there a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that place didn't follow no rules.
Yeah,
Do you
they had
guys,
a couple spots? We used to be able to go there and cop malt liquor.
So
There's a couple spots where you could just buy stuff.
yeah, it was really fucked up. Now that you think about it, do you guys remember? Because in where we are from, roller rinks like Atlantis or the
Oh, yeah.
Palace like was super. And it's weird how parents would just drop their kids off here.
Take
Shit was
off.
like shit was not an environment to just be dropping your kids off in. If you ask me,
Kids would be
See,
fighting there all day.
My parents were like my upbringing was just like the opposite of a lot of these. Like we lived out in the country, so like my parents didn't trust things like that. I didn't have sleepovers or anything like that. My nearest neighbor was like a mile and a half away down like a road that had a speed limit of like 65 or 70. So you're not walking down that road with no sidewalk when people were driving that fast.
It's crazy.
So we did a lot of like crazy outdoor stuff because I mean like my family was all truck drivers, right? So like we had amounts of bricks and cinder blocks and we'd build forts with those and throw rocks at each other and just really dumb, dangerous stuff, shooting each other with BB guns. Like,
yeah, that's wild.
We just go wander through the countryside sometimes because we live next to this creek and just go to the creek and just wander and see what you find. Like.
They were fine
with that, but us going to like going to a roller rink or something was not allowed. Too dangerous.
Dangerous.
Nah, but going down the creek where there's probably gators or some shit, that's fine. That's normal. Yeah, right. Definitely.
Yeah, I never been to Atlantis though. I only been to the Palace.
Atlantis was
I've
far,
been to
though.
Atlantis less than that was for people that were like in gardens and stuff like that.
That thing was deep, bro. That's jogging.
Was it deep?
Yeah, it's jogging 10th Avenue, I think, or something like that. It's over there by CC's Pizzas now, where what it is, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's deep.
I don't think Atlantis is over there. Where was the Palace?
On
The
Lantana
Palace was on Lantana.
Congress, right before Congress.
The Palace is a roller rink.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like a strip club. Like it sounds like a strip club or like a dive bar or something.
The Palace is over there by New York's Finest?
I think so. Yeah, behind the Shell gas station.
All the good Florida fucking barbershops are all named after New York. It's so weird.
New York's Finest. Yeah, the Palace is not a strip club. It was a roller skating rink. And on like Wednesday nights, they started doing this thing where like on different days of the week, they would have, different. It would be like a Friday night. Everybody would go to the Palace and it would be like a roller skating rink. And then at 9:00, they would shut the roller skating down. And then it would just turn into like a club. It'll just start playing music. Girls are booty popping. Dudes just posted up on the walls trying to look all cool. Like,
While
it was the
Sammy,
spot.
the little kid Sammy, I like the way you look at me, was playing in the background. All these little teeny bopper songs.
Is this like they had this thing here in Austin where there were certain nightclubs that would have like teen night.
That's big in Florida.
And it would just be a bunch of like teenage kids going to the club to dance, I guess.
So you'll go meet your girlfriend or you get
exactly.
to fill on the chick you like or fight some dudes that you had beef. You go there with your team. It was crazy.
It seems like just such a bad idea. It just seems like the worst possible idea you could come up with.
And then the Palace came out with the dungeon.
Oh,
something. I don't know if you remember that.
dungeon.
It was like a room they added where like
Black light.
instead of waiting till 9:00, it was pretty much once they opened, you could go straight in there, and it was just like a club, and it was like dark, and they wanted the little kids to get in there and start hunching and stuff,
That's wild.
That's
It was
weird.
a little wild in there.
Very weird. Very weird.
That's super weird. But I mean, I guess
it's
when
very
90
weird. Imagine going up to your business partner and being like, I've got an idea. What if we got some teenagers, some really horny teenagers, we just put them in this dark room in the back of our roller rink?
What happens when that's all your revenue is from these little kids, bro? Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Palace shut down, right?
yeah, it's no longer
Right. It's gone. And Atlanta shut down too.
Yeah.
I think the only thing keeping that place alive were those nights where every single middle schooler in Palm Beach wanted to go to the Palace and eat cheese fries and corn dogs and sodas, hit up those arcade machines. I played so much Crazy Taxi in the Palace. Like,
It's a solid game. That's a solid
it was
game.
cool. It was an experience.
Going to arcades was also like a thing of the past but I mean, this place still exists, right? On 10th Avenue. I'm sure you're taking your kid there. It's
Fun Depot?
Fun Depot.
Oh, Fun Depot. It's still there. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still there. I haven't taken Luca there yet.
It's where
but
the
yeah,
where the fun lives. Okay.
I guess.
I used to go to Fun Depot a lot.
Same.
Not a lot. I used to like harass my parents to take me and spend money. I like that little boxing game they had. The Time Crisis was lit.
Laser
They never want
tag.
to pay for the go-karts though, or laser. I ain't never. Only time I did is when I was working at the elementary school. They used to like give us mad shit at the palace. So at the palace at Fun Depot. So I could go and I'd walk in with like 100 tokens. I could play like everything. I was supposed to be watching kids. I was just playing games the whole time.
That's lit.
Fire.
Do you think people make mods for the arcade version of Time Crisis? Because
Man, I
it would be
missed that
really
game.
cool. It would be really cool to own like Time Crisis just in your house, like have like the arcade setup of it. But you would get so bored of the same stages over and over again. So like I would want some DLC for that or something I could install.
There's definitely
it doesn't
arcade
work
mods.
without CRT, right?
I think
Those
so.
games.
I'm not positive. I think they require that, right? They have old televisions in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Yo, Enter the Gungeon. They just came out with a cabinet. Fucking fire. I've never wanted to waste $6,000 like so bad. Like I think it's like $4 or $5 grand. But with shipping and taxes, I'm like, yo, I'm begging my bar to fucking get this thing.
a closet? Like
They're making a
cabinet.
brand new game. It's the Enter the Gungeon, but it's a shooting game. It has its own cabinet.
oh,
it's an
okay, like an
entirely
arcade
new
thing.
game.
Okay.
Yeah. But in order to experience it, you have to go to an arcade and play it, or like whatever bar, whatever place buys it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I can see you with a whole bunch of tokens.
I would spend money to play this game because I like them so much. I want to see they actually put a lot of effort into this. It's been like 4 years since they
That's
first
rad.
announced it. Yeah.
How
Oh.
wild to spend so much time developing a cabinet game in 2023, though. Like, there's only like a few places I know in Austin to go and play arcade games anymore, really.
They're probably going to have it. I'll let you know.
All right.